All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Firestone Walker Brewing Company, and they're headquartered in Paso, Robles, California, and this is their Pivo Pils. So this is an American Pilsner that comes in at 5.3% alcohol by volume, 40 IBUs, and at the time of review, this can is approximately 6 weeks old. And I want to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to Firestone Walker, more specifically Sean, for this beer, so big thanks to them. Sean reached out, I want to say it was about a month ago, and wanted to know if I'd be interested in checking out some of their products, their beers specifically, and I said yes, as long as you're okay with me being honest with the reviews, and Sean said yes, that's exactly what we want. So they ended up sending me the first 4-pack of beer was the collaboration they did with Russian River called Stevo. Absolutely delicious beer. That beer is fantastic. And then Sean apparently watched the review I did, and in that review I mentioned this beer because that beer is a combination of this beer and Russian River's STS Pils. And I mentioned, like, I haven't had this beer in a couple years. I can't find it here in the Buffalo, New York area anymore, and I'd love to review it. So the next package he sent my way, he included an entire 6-pack of this, along with a variety 12-pack of their Mind Haze series. So the base Mind Haze and then 2 variants, which I'll be reviewing probably in the next couple weeks and whatnot. But I wanted to start with this one because I have not had this beer in almost a little bit over 2 years ago was the last time I had it. I had it on draft at a local craft beer pub. Before that, the first time I had this one was 2014. I had it from a bottle. The next year I had it from a can, and then I had it recently on draft. I've had this beer numerous times over the years. One of the first American-brewed Pilsners that I actually thoroughly enjoyed back in 2014. I was surprised when I had it because I got into craft beer because I thought lagers and Pilsners, whatever. I was moving away from them. I wanted something with flavor. This has a lot of flavor, at least from what I can remember. So they use Saphir hops in this one, and they basically call it American Pilsner. I think it's kind of like a German Pilsner base for the most part, but has a little bit more of like a hop forward kind of feel to it. I've always enjoyed this one. We're gonna pour this into the #proper glassware. Even though I'm always honest with all my reviews, I already know that this is a delicious beer. I'm just hoping that it's as good as I remember it, and I somehow at some point learned how to clean my glasses again, because it says a little bit dirty glass mafia going on that you kind of get rid of like that. So first things first, look at that. I mean, I can get out the contraband flashlight. Listen, this is not necessary. It looks exactly on camera how I'm looking at it. It's crystal clear. You can see my stupid face through it. You can see my hands, my fingers, everything. Had about a finger and a half of a nice soap sudsy, bright white, head. It had good carbonation. The clarity's through the roof, exactly what you expect. And if you do a little bit of a swirl here to get the head going again, and then you put it into the #proper glassware, clearly it makes everything way better. Look at that in the Firestone Walker TQ. And in fact, let's pour the rest in here now that I was able to get it all in, and you'll see it perfection in the glass right there. That's what it looks like. It looks fantastic. Let's be honest. So can't really go wrong with this beer as far as the it's aesthetically pleasing. Let's just say that. Nose. Yeah, I mean, has a little. So one thing with this beer that I don't remember off the top of the dome piece, but this has that sulfuric kind of lager funk a little bit more prominent than some other lagers I've been drinking recently. But on top of that, it has this beautiful, slightly toasted bread quality, crackery. This is sensational, herbaceous, kind of spicy hop character. Some lemongrass in here. Lemon too, just straight on lemon zest. Maybe a little bit of a red apple core. Dude, it smells delightful. It's weird how your palate comes full circle. When a lot of us get into craft beer, we're trying to get away from the BMC beers or lagers, right? You're trying to get away from that and get into stuff more flavorful. But then it comes full circle and you come back to this, but then you come back to craft versions of the things that you originally used to enjoy. So if you're somebody who liked, let's just say a Budweiser or a Coors Banquet, then you come full circle and you come back to something like this, you're like, this reminds me of those beers, but crafted better, tastes better, more intense, more flavorful. And that's where my palate is now and has been for probably the past 6 months to a year. But I've always enjoyed this one. I've always given this one a 4 out of 5 on tap. And then the last time I had it on draft just over 2 years ago, I gave it a 4.25. Why? Because this is a sensational, just tasty American Pilsner, German Pilsner, whatever you want to call it. Let's get into it. Cheers, Prost, whatever you want to say. I know I'm going to enjoy this one. Thanks again, Sean and Firestone Walker. It's fucking delicious. Like, what do you want me to say? This is a very tasty beer. It's just, and you take things into consideration, like we'll talk about the price point and availability at the end. But this is like, the value of this beer is insane for what you get and the quality. And it's just so good. Body mouthfeel. Body's like lower side of medium, approaching medium. Fine by me. Mouthfeel, crisp, clean, super refreshing, effervescent on the palate, but not overly like carbonated. It has like a moderate to touch over moderate carbonation. Still smooth going down the second half of the palate as you swallow. The tasting notes, is this like the most diverse, complex, crazy Pilsner? It is not. Is it fucking tasty? It is. This beer, to me, kind of invokes everything I want out of like a German or a Czech style Pils, but with like a little bit of a like American flair. So the forefront is, to me, toasted. It's like toasted cracker, toasted white bread, but like a very small drizzle of honey. Like it has a little bit of like a slightly sweeter malt note that I would attribute to, like, again, honey. It'd be like if they used honey malt in this, and they don't. I think it's pretty much all Pilsner malt. Passes through. That lemon kick is more of a zesty lemon pith. Maybe even a touch of orange. That lemongrass I was talking about in the nose has a little bit of that lemongrass vibe. Touch of red apple or a white pear. Whiter fruit like that, especially if you're going closer to the core of those fruits. And then on the finish, this finish is bone dry with a mild to moderate bitterness. And I think where this American Pilsner comes into play is that it does have a little bit more of a residual bitterness and hop character. So the hop character, to me, it has a spicy, herbaceous floral tone. It's more of like a spicy herbaceousness than anything else, but it's definitely, that bitterness is just not like a generic, like almost moderate bitterness. It definitely has more of a straight on hop bitterness. It's pretty well balanced, although maybe leans a little bit more dry and bitter, which I'm totally fine with and actually prefer at this point. Been watching the channel over the past 6 months, I'm loving West Coast hop forward beers of all kind, and I'm digging bitterness and dryness as a whole. So this one actually speaks to me just as much, if not more so, than when I had it 2 years ago. It's 5.3%. You can't tell. This is a chuggable, crushable. You drink an entire 6-pack of this over the course of a barbecue, or going to the beach, or maybe poolside. You're feeling a little toasty, you're feeling good, but you're not drunk, you're not tipsy to the point where like you're gonna make a fool of yourself. You're just gonna be feeling good, and you're gonna be drinking a delicious beverage as doing so. I'm not gonna give this a crazy high score, because I'm not gonna say you're bullshit. You can be like, this is the best American Pilsner or best Pilsner I've ever had, because it's not. But I'm being honest with you, it's really fucking good. The last time I gave this one was a 4.25, like I said, just over 2 years ago on tap. And that was, I think I had that on tap, and I was eating food and shit with it. So, like, who knows? But this is just fucking good. I'm so thank you very much, Sean, for watching the review and seeing it, and then throwing in a 6-pack of this. This is just like, it's cool, because we'll talk about price point and availability momentarily, but I can't get this beer anymore. I've not seen this beer in many years. So the fact that I got a 6-pack to enjoy and maybe share with some friends, I'm stoked. So Pivo Pils, Firestone Walker, high 4.25 out of 5, go 4.3. This is great. It's a great beer. If you've never had it before and you get Firestone Walker, I don't know what you're doing, but don't walk, but run to the store and buy this one, especially if you're somebody who loves Pilsners or lagers, and especially of the craft realm, because this is one of the better ones that I've had. That is a shit. Like, the one thing I will say, I'm always honest with you guys, the one thing I do say, Firestone Walker, nice enough to send me this beer, and Sean, nice enough to throw this one in specifically. I was going to review this one as a shelfie beer for the month of May 2025, but I thought maybe that would be a disservice and like kind of like I don't want to say slap in the face, but like on my channel, shelfie beer is a term of endearment. Like, shelfie beers are, hey, those are readily available. I can walk in a grocery store, I can walk in a beer store, and I can grab it off the shelves. It's always there. Maybe not always super fresh, but it's always there. But I didn't want to do it because they were nice enough to send it to me, so they might maybe that would be something that they would look at as in a negative light. But also, I can't find it here in the Buffalo, New York area as a shelfie beer. So that was the main thing, was like, I can't find it here in the Western New York area. So what the fuck? Why am I doing this as a shelfie beer if I can't pick it off the shelves? Anyway, price point availability, $10 to $12 a 6-pack, depending upon where you live, based on what I've seen. I remember paying, I think, $11.99 here in the Buffalo, New York area. $2 for this can all fucking day, every day. I gave it a 4.3 out of 5. It's great. Availability, I don't really know if Firestone Walker. We used to see everything here in New York State, like all the time. Now, like a lot of stuff special order. A lot of times we just see like Parabola, Sukaba, the anniversary beers, some of their other barrel-aged beers, and things of that nature. So in New York State, we don't get their stuff as frequently anymore, but if you're in an area you do get Firestone Walker, this has to be a staple. This is going to be on your shelves at a grocery store, at a beer store, and it's one of those beers that a lot of people will just pass up because they're like, oh, it's a 12-ounce can. It's from Firestone Walker. I'm sure it's an all right beer or whatever. No, this is a great beer. And it's always been a great beer going back 11 years ago when the first time I had it. And to date, it's fantastic. So, again, honest review for me. They sent it my way, but I'm calling a spade here. This is fucking delicious. So if you've never had it before, you owe it to yourself to try it. Those Mine Haze beers are going to be interesting. And the reason why I'm saying that, I don't know if Sean knows this or not, I reviewed Mine Haze on my channel many years ago, and I actually was disappointed by it. I said it was a decent shelfy hazy. So that's like one of my most disliked videos on my channel, believe it or not. So I'm going to re-review it. I'm going to give it a fresh, re-review and a fresh chance. We'll see if I enjoy it. Those other two sound wild. I think one's like 8.5, the other was 9.5. We'll see. But, they sent a variety 12-pack, so I'm going to give it a go. But, yeah, this is delicious. So, again, I'm going to shut this one down. Thanks to Sean and Firestone Walker for hooking me up with this one. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol 5.3%. You can't tell. And truly, if you've had this one before, please post in the comment section. What do you think about this one? When I did the SCS or the Steve-O review, I said that this was great, but SCS Pils is better. That still holds true for me. I think SCS Pils is better than this beer. But when you combine them and make Steve-O, fantastic beer. But this is not a beer to take lightly. It's a great beer. So I'm shutting it down. Till the next one. Pros, cheers, the whole nine.